Very often students don't understand English, even if they're listening attentively, because there is absolutely no relation to the spelling. So people expect a sound which has a vague resemblance to the word that's written, and it isn't like that. The problem is that they also have trouble pronouncing it. So, as an example, future, so future, is actually pronounced future with a ch in the place of the t, and it's more a schwa sound. Now, the actual sound can change depending on where you're from. So some people will say future, really short, whilst others will add on the R and say future. But that is not a rolling R. So it's future or future. For simplicity's sake, I've chosen the shorter version. So we say future. Repeat. Future. 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 Future is what comes after the present. What do you plan on doing in the future? Repeat. Future. In the future. Doing in the future. Plan on doing in the future. Do you plan on doing in the future? What do you plan on doing in the future? Of course, this is in nice English. There are many people who prefer to speak in a more common English and change do you to do. So what do you plan on doing in the future? Repeat. What do you plan on doing in the future? What do you plan on doing? What do you plan on doing in the future? What do you plan on doing in the future? Now, a very difficult word to pronounce is literature. Literature is books and writing that are valued as works of art. How do we pronounce it? So the usual T-U-R-E ending is ch, but we have tr-ch. Can you repeat? Tr-ch. 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 Literature. 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 This is one of the most difficult words to pronounce for students. My dad read a lot of literature on World War II. Repeat. World War II. On World War II. Literature on World War II. A lot of literature on World War II. Read a lot of literature on World War II. My dad read a lot of literature on World War II. My dad read a lot of literature on World War II. My dad read a lot of literature on World War II. In the future, I'd like to study English literature. Repeat. Literature. English literature. Study English literature. I'd like to study English literature. In the future, I'd like to study English literature. In the future, I'd like to study English literature. In the future, I'd like to study English literature. In the future, I'd like to study English literature. In the future, I'd like to study English literature. In the future, I'd like to study English literature. Literature refers to books and writing that are valued as works of art. So famous books are part of famous literature. Temperature. Temperature is how hot or cold something is. Repeat, temperature. 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 He's in bed with a high temperature. Repeat, temperature. A high temperature. With a high temperature. In bed with a high temperature. He's in bed with a high temperature. Mixture. Mixture is putting together many different ingredients. Repeat, mixture. 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 Stir the mixture well before cooking it. Repeat, cooking it. Before cooking it. Well before cooking it. The mixture well before cooking it. Stir the mixture well before cooking it. Stir the mixture well before cooking it. This is just an example of how to pronounce a few words which end in ch. So remember that T-U-R-E is usually pronounced ch, such as in literature, temperature, mixture, etc. Okay, I hope you improve your English with this pronunciation. Bye.